Hey Most Amazing Top 10 family, I'm your host arent and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. We are back with another list of scary cartoons. I had so much fun making the first video and I'm happy you guys liked it so much. If you haven't seen it, you should go check that out right now before you watch today's list of Top 10 Scary Kids Show Theories Part 2. I love revisiting all these old cartoons I used to watch when I was a kid. As always, I would love it if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. And stick around for the whole video because I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts, which you guys love so much. If you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. Anyone looking for some more Most Amazing Top 10 content, you can check us out on Instagram and Facebook. We are starting to do Facebook exclusive content, so you guys are going to want to go over there so you can check it out. Anyone at home who's looking to get some merch, you should check out the link below in the description and use the offer code MA10 so you can get $5 off any purchase. That means you could grab a t-shirt for $10, which is a sweet deal. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. At number 10, we have Frankie Foster is Imaginary. Right off the bat, I'm gonna say that I have never watched this show. I think this show came out right when I was at that stage of going from a kid who only watches cartoons to a teenager who watches mostly cartoons but is starting to watch a lot of music videos at like a desperate attempt at an identity. So if you're a huge Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends fan, please be gentle with me in the comments. But I have read this theory more than once, so I know I'm not the only person that thinks this, but a lot of people on the internet think that Frankie Foster could be imaginary. Specifically that she is the imaginary friend of Mrs. Foster. Some people think that she built the home of imaginary friends just because she missed her old friends so much. Other people speculate that Frankie Foster could have been Mrs. Foster's daughter who died, and now Mrs. Foster keeps her alive in memory by running this business. At number 9, we have Goku is in a coma. Right off the bat, guys, I want to say there's spoilers in this point, so if you are a fan of Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super and you haven't watched all the episodes, I warned you, okay? Fans of Dragon Ball Z will never forget the moment where Piccolo put a special beam cannon through Goku and Raditz's chest while they were trying to save Gohan from the crazed Saiyan. And of course, this led to Goku getting trained by King Kai, the Kaioken, and nearly 400 episodes later, we reached this point. That fight is so epic I literally get emotional every time I watch it. But what if the whole series has been taking place in Goku's head? Remember how everything starts with Goku bumping his head when he's a baby. We're going all the way back to the original Dragon Ball. That moment could have knocked baby Goku into a coma, and everything that has been happening in the show has just been the wild imagination of a baby. And his father who found him is so loving he doesn't want to let him go and just continues to take care of the comatose baby to this day. That would be a huge bummer for the show. At number 8, we have Raven will kill the Teen Titans. Teen Titans has been one of my favorite cartoons ever. I haven't followed the series since it moved into the Go version, but people really seem to like it. But fans of the series will know that one of the members, Raven, gets her powers from her dark overlord father, Trigon. Trigon is extremely powerful and is constantly trying to pull Raven into the dark side. And on more than one occasion, she has lost control of her powers and put the Titans in danger. One day she may go too far. Trigon will win, and the super team of sidekicks will end up a bunch of corpses. At number 7, we have Dee Dee is smarter than Dexter. Dexter's Laboratory is one of the best cartoons of all time and might have the best intro song of any show ever. Of course, the show centers around Dexter and his super intellect, with one of the main antagonists being his dim-witted sister Dee Dee. But what if she wasn't such a dunce as she portrayed? Dee Dee is always able to work her way past the many defenses of Dexter's lab and start messing with everything, which means she could be a master of infiltration. She would often get Dexter to do something that would benefit her, which means she could also be a master of manipulation. In fact, the entire lab could be hers. She might have built the whole thing to convince Dexter that he was the super genius to protect his fragile ego, and then this would distract him while she was doing her own experiments that were so advanced and delicate she didn't want Dexter to interfere with them. Well, that's like Inception or something. We're going deep on this one. I think I just confused myself. At number 6, we have Brain is Trapped. Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius and the other's insane, or something like that. I can't remember the theme song. It's been a little bit of time. In the show Pinky and the Brain, Brain is of course the super genius mouse who is constantly trying to take over the world. But how did he become a genius? A common theory is through a brain transplant transplant experience. The genius and consciousness from a former man was taken and transplanted into the mouse, and now he's trapped in the mouse body. That's why he so badly wants to take over the world, so he can get revenge on those who did this to him. At number 5 we have the other powerpuffs. Professor Utonium seems like such a nice guy. I mean, he made 3 of the sweetest little super powered girls, and they save the day on a regular basis. You have to be a pretty nice guy to do something like that. But I doubt he got the formula right on the first try. Science is about trial and error. So what happened to the other little girls that Professor Utonium made? Were they given away? Were some of them made without powers and then given to people who couldn't have children? Or did he have to kill them because they were too dangerous? Was there monstrosity who got out and terrorized the city before he perfected his experiment that made the 3 superpowered sisters? We look at Professor Utonium and we see a man with a smiling face who seems so sweet and innocent, but what is he hiding? Is there a bunch of dead children hiding in his past? This is a very gruesome thing to think about. At number 4 we have the gang is in on the job. It is very convenient that the gang in Scooby-Doo is always able to take down the villain and figure out what they are doing. This could be because they came up with the plan. The gang is actually the villains. What if every episode they went town to town to figure out how they could rob a town for all they were worth? They hire some poor guy who is down on his luck to pull it off. He accepts because he was down on his luck, and they promise to split the take with him. But then they double cross him, taking some of the prize but giving a little bit back to the city. This would be the perfect plan. They would look like the heroes and no one would be the wiser. If the poor sap who got blamed for the whole thing tried to tell the police it was all their idea, then of course the cops wouldn't believe them. It's the perfect crime. At number 3 we have Garfield is actually homeless. A cat sitting around all day daydreaming about food he could eat, because that's just what cats do, right? They seem to have an endless pit of gluttony inside them. But what if it's actually because he's constantly starving? He imagines all this food because he so desperately wants to eat something delicious. Instead he's forced to devour scraps just to stay alive. Odie and John are just parts of his imagination that he created as some sort of comfort while he sleeps on the cold hard ground. Woof, I don't know, it was sad. At number 2 we have the Rugrats aren't real. Why is it that Angelica is the only one that can talk to the babies in the show Rugrats? Well, it could be because they're all babies, or because they're all dead. What if the reason that all the parents get together in the show is because they're a support group for parents who lost their kids? Angelica talks and plays with them because they're figments of her imagination. She hears all the parents talking about these kids all day, and it's her own way of coping with and understanding death. It definitely makes the show 10 times darker when you think these people could be coming together to try and get over the most traumatic thing a parent can go through. And for the number 1 spot we have Timmy Turner and Mr. Crocker are suffering from the same psychosis. Fairly Odd Parents is also on my list of best theme songs ever in a cartoon. Now you know that Timmy is able to wish for anything he wants with the help of his 2 fairy godparents, but it seems that no one on earth thinks that anything he's able to do is real other than the seemingly insane teacher Mr. Crocker. This could be because they're both suffering from the same mental illness. For whatever reason, the psychosis that is developing in them forces them to see magical beings. This could be because Timmy's mental illness was slowly developing and his exposure to his teacher guided him in the same direction. There's also the Fairly Odd Parents theory that Timmy and his teacher are the same person. Timmy has to lose his fairy godparents when he turns 13, and then he will also forget about them. But what if the years after he loses them, something happens that unlocks the memories of all the adventures with Wanda and Cosmo? He then travels back in time to find them, but the time travel scrambles his brain, and then the rest of the show takes place. Alright everyone, that is our list, and as promised I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. Each weekday I pick some pets for the shoutout, and it resets every day, so if you don't get picked one day, you can message back another day. This way it's fair for everyone. Everyone gets an equal shot at getting a shoutout. You can try again and again and again if you want. Also, if it takes me a long time to get back to you, I am very sorry. I just got so many of these to do. You guys are such good fans that you guys reached out all the time, and I love it, but it just give me time to get you guys. I love you guys so much. First on the list we have Nick's cat Maxwell. He said this guy is a big chonker, and I love it. You can tell by his neck he has some chonk on him. Trinity sent in a picture of her cat Tiger. I love that the collar says Puddin'. This cat is a baller. Next we got Angela's cat Titan. Napping cats and dogs are the cutest thing on the planet. How can you look at this and not fall in love? Nikki sent in a picture of her dog Otis. This is a handsome boy. He is so good, I want to love him. And finally, a most amazing fan sent in a picture of her dog Princess and her cat Luna. First of all, Princess has the most beautiful blue eyes I have ever seen, and second, that romantic flower petals picture is so extra, I love it. Alright everyone, that is our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I would love it if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. If you need more Most Amazing Top 10 content, check us out on Instagram and Facebook. And until next time, I've been Shaderena, and I gotta watch a bunch more cartoons. I got a craving now. Oh, there's something in my eye. This could be because Timmy's mental illness